Hey, hey, hey. Hope everyone is having a lovely day. I want to talk about the most important decision that you have to make. It's actually two of them. And if you get these two wrong, nothing else really matters. You're never going to achieve kind of the true potential. These two things came to me, fortunately. I'm stuck in English 4. Please help. Get out of there. Get out of there. Welcome. Feel free to put anything in the chat. Say hello. Be sure to like. So, these two things were brought to my attention by Mike, someone who I just learned a lot from when I was younger. And he was doing a deal. He was working on two deals. He was working on a deal on a film company in China, and he was working on a golf course. I always forget to turn this off when I'm jumping on this, but that actually was a good reminder. I'm in a group where we are just keep up with everybody's workouts and all that stuff. So I actually just finished with mine, so I got to be sure I go in there and update my workout with everything you want to achieve. Make sure it's a total side note from the call today, but with everything you want to achieve, make sure you have accountability partners. Like, there's just no point. Like, basically, I would consider a goal without a kind of a real accountability partner a pointless goal. I mean, I would consider that something I don't really want. It's easy to say, oh, yeah, this is my goal. But if you have that goal and you're not in a group, you don't have two things: accountability partners and a mentor. Where you want to have somebody that you're learning from, and then you want to have the people that are holding you accountable for achieving that thing. If you don't have those two things, it's not a goal. It's just, oh, that's a kind of just this random desire that you're not going to most likely achieve. So let's talk about these two things that you need that are the difference makers. It's two decisions that you've got to make. And I learned this and kind of shifted my focus when my a mentor of mine was talking about two deals he was doing. He was working on a deal in China, acquiring a film company. He was working on a deal on a golf course in the US. And I was telling him, like, man, like, I would love to one day do those kinds of deals. And he asked me a very simple question. It's like, well, why aren't you doing them now? And I'm like, well, I'm kind of learning. I'm going to do some other things and blah, blah, blah. But he's like, you want to quickly start playing the game that you want to play, and at the level that you want to play it. And those are the two things that you've got to decide. So you can take a player, like, if you just, use a sports analogy, you have like LeBron James, who, if he just played in AAU forever, he could dominate. He could do really well. And that's a case of, like, obviously he's in the right game. Like, he has that talent, but he's not playing at the right level. And most people, it's easy to get really comfortable. If you're playing basketball at a college level, but you're playing against junior high people, and somebody tells you, like, hey, like, maybe you should go up to the college level. And you're like, man, like, I'm really dominating. That's what most entrepreneurs are doing right now. Like, they're in a game that they feel really comfortable playing, and they're not challenging themselves to kind of up their game to another level. So they're playing a game that they're comfortable in, but they're playing at a level that is basically easy mode. And the really interesting thing about this is the easy mode is where you get the least rewards. And so it's not that, oh, you may do you're not going to do well. Like, you may do really, really well. And these are all the games that I'm always telling you guys to stay away from. Stay away from the games that are being advertised on Instagram every day. Stay away from the games that everybody else is playing, because if everybody else is playing the most follower game or the Facebook marketing game or these other games, you want to get into a game where you're going to get mass rewards and that there are fewer people. And so you take that example of a LeBron James. And of course, when he goes into the NBA and plays his game at the right level, you kind of have this opportunity to generate massive, massive money because you're playing the right game and you're playing it at the highest level. Now, the really cool thing is, even if you're not a star, if you're just riding the bench, I wonder let's see what somebody who's on Lakers bench is. Lakers roster. Yeah, let's look at the Lakers roster. So even if, you're not one of these superstars, you're not even Dwight Howard, which I got to hang out with Dwight Howard at his house for 4th of July. That dude is freaking massive, massive, massive. But you're one of these other guys that's Wesley Matthews, obviously an amazing, amazing player, but he, even just riding the bench, because he's at the right level, is gonna make a ton of money. And so the first thing is staying away from games where there are a bunch of people that are already playing it. So we want to stay away from the social media game of like taking a bunch of attention, trying to figure out how to get as many followers as possible, because there are too many people playing that game. So we want to find the right game, and that means finding a game where there's a ton of money and very few people. For me, one of the reasons that I focus on Wall Street is because I saw, oh wow, here is a game. One of the reasons I focus, and then went even further down into private equity. Here's a game that very few people are playing, but that is generating billions of dollars. I want to learn that game. I don't want to learn this game where there's a bunch of people playing it. Like, the Instagram game is literally millions and millions of people trying to become an influencer. And like, how much money are each of them making? So that's the first step. And if you choose the wrong game, you're never going to reach your full potential. The second part is, what level do you want to play at? And that becomes the kind of cool thing where you're deciding, okay, like for me in private equity, originally, I was just buying individual businesses. I was going out, I'd find a business, maybe I would go and like with a franchise, I might have a couple of units, may expand, and now I've got a few units, and then I sell that business. And so I did that for a while. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, this game, while it's amazing and, had a great living, it's too slow for like bigger goals. So how do I kind of expand this game? And then it became like, okay, instead of me one by one doing deals and selling those, and now I've got some money and I cash out of that and I go and I put a down payment on another business that's even bigger and I sell that. I switched to having a portfolio of businesses. And that meant, okay, if I'm going to have a portfolio, I've got to look at businesses that lend themselves to me owning a portfolio. So that was, cutting out the individual kind of businesses and going more towards franchises, like I did the video on the other day. Really focusing on businesses that were based on the internet, because those were easier to manage. And so that became the portfolio. And the next step was, okay, a bigger game is private equity. And so that's at a higher level. And so you're always trying to do those two things, and it never stops. You're trying to refine what your game is and then make sure that you're playing it on the right level. Thanks for popping in here. Trevi says, hey, Ace, great to be here. How's life treating you? So life has been really great. this year, just being able to travel, last year made me appreciate everything about travel. So have been spending some time in some different places, spent some time in Cali, headed back to CDMX. Then I am very excited that Buenos Aires or Argentina is opening up, so I'll be able to go back to Buenos Aires. If some of y'all were following the channel, I was really kind of based there at the end of last year and escaped right before, at the beginning of around February, and escaped there before they just now opened up. It's been 2 years of lockdown there. Like, they've closed the borders for almost 2 years, which is just nuts. So, and they're still not open up. November 1 is when they finally are opening up. One of my favorite restaurants, though, La Boca in Colombia. Shout out to my man. It's just that's my little taste of Argentinian food. But yeah, very excited to get back there. Then it's off to Europe, and I'm going to do Portugal, which has been kind of, again, I had a trip that canceled last year, and so that's been on the list for a while. And then a crypto conference in Dubai, which will be really, really cool. So life is good. It's been a lot of fun. And then I have a really cool announcement. I'll do a separate video on for PEFI 5. All right. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks for popping on, everybody.